today I want to talk about consistency. One of the number one questions I get from clients and just people who follow me on Instagram or anybody who has questions in general is how do I become more consistent? And the reality is you have to be more consistent to get consistent. It's kind of like a snowball effect. And I'm going to teach you some hacks, which by the way, I hate the word hacks, but these are quick strategies that can help you. But before I even talk about that, before we can implement strategies and hacks, before we can try to attempt to be consistent at anything, you have to figure out your why. Why are you doing this in the first place? You have to dig in and find a deeper purpose that is motivating you from the inside, internally, that is going to wake you up every morning and push you into discomfort. Because let's be real, whether you're trying to build a business, have an amazing relationship, or build the body of your dreams, no matter what, it's going to take hard work, effort, investment, and discipline. And you're probably going to have to sacrifice something along the way. Because balance is kind of bullshit. And the reason I say that is because we're never going to be perfectly balanced across our life. Something is going to take more attention. And whatever is taking more attention is got to be the thing that you want the most. But again, that means you have to sacrifice something elsewhere. And again, it comes back down to finding your internal why. What is your purpose that is driving you behind it? So you want to lose weight. Cool. Why do you want to lose weight? What feelings create pain for you that make you not want to stay where you're at right now? If you want to lose 30 pounds, it's not because there's a magical number of 30. It's because you want to feel more confident in your skin. It's because you want to take your shirt off at the pool or the lake in the summer. It's because you want your husband to look at you differently. There is something in your life that makes you uncomfortable, that brings your confidence down, that changes your persona, changes your energy, and changes who you are, that is creating pain inside of you, and you want to remove that pain. That is why you want to lose weight. Maybe you're the skinny guy that wants to build muscle because you're tired of getting picked on. You constantly remember the names they used to call you back in school because they're burnt into your brain. There's always something way deeper than the scale, than the body fat, than the diet, than anything like that. So before we talk about how to get consistent with your macros or with your training program or cardio or whatever it is that you're dreading doing that you haven't been disciplined enough to consistently do, you need to dig deep. You need to have an emotional self-talk or find a coach that will have one with you. And you need to figure out what your why is. What is the internal motivation behind everything you do? I have insecurities. I have reasons that I'm fired up to do what I do. Because I remember what it feels like to not have the things I have today. I remember what it feels like to be in pain and where I want to be in the future to make sure that I can avoid that pain at all cost. You need to find that if you want to be motivated. You need to find that before you even think about being consistent. But again, once you figure out this motive, once you find this internal drive, and now we can begin implementing strategies, because this comes in our coaching practice, this comes before anything else. We need to have the talk and the communication, the coaching conversation on the phone or in person to make sure that we lay this all out on the table. Once it's laid out on the table, we move forward. Now we can implement strategies. Now we can talk macros. Now we can talk training and how we're going to build your body. And now that we can do that, we're going to talk about 3 specific hacks, I hate that word, strategies that you can take away today to make you more consistent on a daily basis. All right, so let's get into these hacks. These are 3 consistency hacks or strategies that you can use with whatever you're doing. So I don't care if you're tracking macros, if you're strength training, if you're just doing cardio, or if you're not doing anything at all. Or maybe you want to build a habit for your business or your family or whatever it may be. These are just simple hacks that are going to be implemented into the system, into the strategy that you're using so you can actually do them on a consistent basis. Because we all know without consistency, results are impossible. The first one is mark the red X. This is pretty simple. You're going to buy a calendar. The first day you create that habit and you actually execute on that habit, you're going to mark a red X over that day. You accomplished it. Day 2, mark another red X if you executed on day 2. And you're going to keep this pattern going. And I promise you, psychologically, it's been proven as we get in a rhythm and as we start to build this foundation of consistency and we see the visual progress of days and days in a row that we have accomplished something, the last thing we want to do is screw that pattern up. We want to be consistent with those red X's, and the only way to be consistent with those red X's, if you're being completely honest with yourself, is to continue executing on that habit every single day. That's consistency. So simply mark the red X. And this can be applied for anything. If you want to have 90 days of tracking macros, 90 days of lifting, 90 days of meditation, it doesn't matter. Every day you accomplish that, mark a red X, and as long as you mark the red X and you're following the program, you are being consistent. And as simple as that sounds, I promise you, it's a game changer in making sure that you can be more consistent. Number 2, time block every hour. Every hour seems a little bit ridiculous, but I promise you this is a game changer as well. I literally am OCD with my Google Calendar, and the reason for this is because I just never forget to do anything. And I make sure that my time blocks are very organized so I can get a lot done every single day. We film videos, we record podcasts, I train every day, I make sure I'm eating enough meals every day, I'm prepping my meals, I have family time, I have meditation, I have journaling, reading, studying, coaching calls. There's so much shit going on. And the only way I can even function and do all this stuff without going insane is because I set up time blocks for every single hour of my day. I know what hours I do what, and I know what days I do what. So what days I'm training XYZ, what days I'm training cardio. I know which days are longer than others. I know what time my meals are at. I know which days I take coaching calls. I know which days I record podcasts or this video. We know everything that's laid out, and because of that, I don't stress because I know it's coming. But if you want to get consistent with working out and you live a busy life or eating healthy or anything, you need to set up time blocks for every hour of your day as well. Because a lot of people say they don't have time. Reality is they're just not clear on the time that they have. So if I asked you, okay, you're too busy, where's there any gaps? What time do you do what? I don't know, it's different every day. Bullshit. Look at your schedule, write them down hour by hour, know when you wake up, when you eat your meals, when you go to work, when you have calls, whatever you need to do, when you have family time, and you fill in the gaps and you tighten things up and you make sure that you're moving efficiently throughout your day, every day. And because of that, you're gonna buy yourself so much more time. And guess what you're gonna do at that time? You're going to work out, you're going to eat better, so on and so forth, or whatever your goal is. So for people watching this and want to build their business, even more important, right? So if we're trying to build our body, we're going to be more efficient at work too, and we're probably going to make more money. This is such a lifesaver, but you have to be meticulous with it and record it every single hour, because that's how you're going to see these windows of time that you can actually focus on your health, assuming health is the habit we're trying to build. And if we want to be consistent, time blocks are a key to making sure we are consistent on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. Last but definitely not least, in fact, this is probably the most important thing that you can ever do for yourself to be successful. Find public accountability. The key with this is public. I can be accountable to myself, and that only goes so far, but the reality is I am not going to push myself to take action over and over and over again, because I am my own worst enemy. I am my biggest fan at the same time. I'm going to provide the worst excuses, and I'm going to give in to those excuses because I'm going to take it easy on myself. I made a post about this on Instagram, and I talked about every single time I step on an assault bike, and if you don't know what an assault bike is, do yourself a favor, don't find out. But every time I go to get on that thing and do my cardio session, I talk myself out of it. It's in the garage, Shannon's sleeping, she could probably hear me. You had a hard day yesterday, man, didn't sleep much, you should probably take it easy. And let's do lists today, you kind of have some low back pain. All these different things that are all just bullshit, and me doing this isn't going to make any of them worse. It's just hard. It's uncomfortable, and I don't enjoy doing it, but it's very beneficial for burning fat, so I need to do it. But I talk myself out of it, and I'm the first person to give in to those excuses because it's my own self-accountability. But when we find public accountability, like when I hire my trainer, and I tell him what I'm doing, and he tells me what to do instead, and he checks in with me every week to make sure I'm actually doing the workouts, now I have public accountability. When I talk about this on a video or on my podcast about how I'm going to accomplish XYZ, everybody's waiting for me to accomplish that. When my fiance knows what I'm doing, when my family knows what I'm doing, when I post it on Facebook, my best friends, it doesn't matter. When I speak things into the universe publicly in front of people, that is public accountability. So whether you can afford to hire a coach or not, which is obviously the most beneficial side of things because now you have an investment accountability too, financial accountability. But even if I'm just speaking it to the universe in front of people and I'm telling people what I'm going to accomplish, they are going to expect me to succeed at that. And because of that, I'm going to be held more accountable and I'm more likely to actually accomplish that. So if you want to be more consistent, truthfully, the number one way out of all this, and this leads to success in every area of your life, is find some form of accountability externally that is not you. And if you can do that, you are going to more consistently take action, take risks, and get uncomfortable, and I promise you're going to be more successful in whatever you are trying to accomplish. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today with the consistency hacks. The big thing I want you to take away from this is find your why. consistency and all these little habits and all these different things that help you get more consistent, the investment you need to make in some of these things, whatever it may be, all of that, it's a non-negotiable, almost like a no questions asked type of thing that you know exactly what you need to do because you have your why. You understand your intent, you understand your purpose, you understand your motive, and because of that, all these things become a hell of a lot easier. So if you like this stuff, go check out the website, boomboomperformance.com. That's where we have everything, blogs, podcasts, videos, coaching, everything you can imagine, and there's a lot of extra forms of hacks and accountability. If you like this video, make sure you like it. If you're on YouTube, give us a subscribe. And if you guys have any questions about anything at all, we'd love to make a video for you, and you can just comment below.